Hello again, this is Mary Bell McIntyre, gender critical warrior woman fighting for women and girls' rights. And you're watching, well, to be honest with you, I haven't figured out a name for the show yet. In all honesty, things felt so urgent, you know, with all these autogynephilic males running around, that I just felt like, don't even worry about the branding yet, Mary. Just get straight onto it. You can think of that later. So if you got any sort of ideas what the show can be called, for now we're just calling it the Mary Bell McIntyre YouTube channel, because that's what it is. A safe space. I'm saying that ironically, don't know if you realise that, for gender critical women and men who, you know, want to help the cause. A lot of our greatest allies at the moment are men. Men that, you know, dress appropriately like men. Suit, tie. Preferably well-polished shoes. Just a word of advice, gentlemen. You know, if I'm choosing a suitor, I'd care a lot about, you know, how polished your shoes were. Also, just to say, I've had a couple of messages saying, oh, Mary, you're so attractive. Your hair's so beautiful. What are you doing on Saturday night? I'm spending it with my husband, Ralph. All right? Sorry, fellas. I'm spoken for. Oh, well, I ain't worn my ring today. I don't usually wear it because it just gets in the way, doesn't it? But he knows I love him. We don't have to wear a ring. And if you're watching this, Ralph, don't comment. I haven't lost it. Stop asking me that. First up, thank you to everybody who liked and commented and subscribed on my first video. Loads of support from gender critical activists all over the country, all over the world, actually. Even had one from Indonesia. I couldn't understand what they said, but I assume it was positive. Did get a couple of shitty comments from, you know, your usual kind of AGP, furry weirdos. I won't go into it, as your usual kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? Oh, respect me, I'm a human being. Oh, you know, I think people should be allowed to express themselves however they want. What if I want to use a women's toilet? That's fine. No, it's not fine, all right? It's not fine, and you're dirty for it. So don't come into my spaces. Or do you know what? I'm going to say this, and I don't care if it gets me thrown off YouTube forever, all right? Because sometimes you got to take a stand. You got to say things, and this is what I'm going to say. If I go into a women's public toilet and there's a man in there, things might get violent. They might. And I've done it before. I've got a record. I've attacked a man in the women's toilets. And you can ask the cleaning staff in Burger King in Leicester Square. I'm sorry, I didn't see the sign, all right? He should have been wearing a high vis. That's what I'm saying. If you got a mop and you got a bucket, complete the look with a high vis, then I won't attack. Right, let's get on with it. Let's get on with the news. The things what we want to talk about. More good news on the gender critical front. Another win for us. Texas. That's in America. Everything's bigger in Texas, they say. I guess sense is bigger. They got bigger sense there as well as belt buckles and cars. Because guess what? In Texas, they've only gone and outlawed trans people completely. They passed a new law saying that any trans person has to go away into the hills. They also said that if a parent of a trans child tries to help that child to transition, then they are abusing that child. And that's just something I've thought for years. You know what I mean? I've been thinking that for years and years and years. If you, as a parent, attempt to give your child what they need in order to be happy, that's abuse. When I was growing up, my parents didn't do anything for me. If I said I wanted an ice cream, they said no. If I said I've got a splinter in my finger, they said, wait till it gets infected and we'll sort it out then. And my mum, she had loads of pins. She could easily have got the splinter out, but do you know what? We waited it out. And yes, eventually my hand did go gangrenous, and there was a slight touch and go moment where we thought it might have to be amputated. And yes, it did drive a slight wedge between my mum and dad, and they say that their divorce might have been somewhat related to that incident. But in the end, mum was proven right. My hand was absolutely fine. And I might only have limited mobility in my little finger, but you know what? That's all you need, isn't it? That's all you need. I just want to say well done to Texas. You're doing loads of things right at the moment. And I can see why so many commentators and, you know, American celebrities are moving over there. It makes perfect sense. Before we move on to our next subject, I just want to announce, that's right, I've got a little cheeky announcement for you. And that is that I, Mary Bell McIntyre, am now on the Twitter. I've done it. I've caved in. A load of people were saying to me, Mary, when are you going to get a Twitter account? And I said, I don't know what Twitter is. And they said, it is honestly, it's the front line of gender critical warfare. You absolutely need to be there to defend us from those anime, porn sick, autogynephilic, furry males. And I said, well, if that's where they are, that's where I'm going. So I've joined, and there's a link in the description to my Twitter account, and also, I don't know, it might come up on the screen if my editor, my husband, gets around to doing it. But if not, it's in the description as well. Also, quite a young person, a young fan of mine, her name was Shanice, and Shanice said she is 14, which is amazing. It's amazing to have gender critical people as young as 14. She said to me in a comment, she said, Mary, you really want to get Discord. She said, you want to get yourself on Discord. I don't know what Discord is, but again, Ralph has set me up a Discord, and you can look at it. And I think you can use it to talk to me. So, I mean, don't go on there past 9 o'clock, because that's my time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I set myself very strict hours because I'm self-employed, and I generally get to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I don't want to hear it beeping all night, you know, saying, oh, someone wants to talk to you. Like, I sign up to these things so I can engage with you, or don't take the piss. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And our final piece of news today from the gender critical front lines is, it's about Kaitlyn Jenner. Kaitlyn Jenner is used to be an autogynephilic male who ran in a race and was the dad of the Kardashians. Everyone's like, oh my God, they came out as trans, basically, and people went mad for it. You know, they were like, oh my God, Kaitlyn, you're so beautiful. You're such a woman. You're the woman of the year. And all this time I was thinking, this is an insult. Do you know what I mean? Kaitlyn Jenner is a woman of the year. The woman of the year. Hello? What about me? You know? At least I was born with ovaries. I didn't have them surgically implanted, or whatever it is that these weirdos do. But what I would say about Kaitlyn Jenner is, much like Debbie Hayton, Kaitlyn Jenner has really proven herself to be an amazing ally for the gender critical community. Kaitlyn Jenner is an example, like Debbie Hayton, of an autogynephilic male who respects women enough to understand that we need our own spaces that we don't want to share with horrible men. All right? What she said recently was, she said that she didn't understand the woke world of they and them pronouns. And do you know what, Caitlyn? Do you know what, girl? Do you know what? Do you know what, my old girl, Caitlyn, my lovely lady, who I have chosen to use she and her pronouns for? You're right. They and them's ridiculous, isn't it? You don't call a person they or them. You call like an item they or them, didn't you? You go look at they umbrella. Look at them umbrella that I've got here. Which reminds me, actually, more on that at the end. I'll tell you about my umbrellas that I've got coming out. Anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is that as much as I think Kaitlyn Jenner is weird and sort of like offensive to my senses on multiple levels, what I would say about Kaitlyn Jenner is at least Kaitlyn Jenner has the intellectual honesty to admit that she is that. So if I ever see Kaitlyn Jenner in real life, which could happen, you know, I'm starting to move in pretty important circles, actually. I know a few MPs and I've got contacts at the BBC. But if me and Kaitlyn were to meet face to face in person, now this might surprise a lot of my hardline feminist gender critical viewers, which is understandable, but if I saw Kaitlyn Jenner in real life, I would refer to Kaitlyn as she and her, and I would use the name Kaitlyn in her presence. Obviously behind her back I'd say anything I want. I'd say, oh, look at that disgusting man who thinks they're a woman, that's so weird, you know. I'd have a good we've actually got a WhatsApp sort of group chat that we have, and in the WhatsApp group chat that we have, right, we got all these organophilic males like Kaitlyn Jenner, Debbie Hayton, you know, all, Blair White, you know, all these people, and what we do is we're really nice to them in person, right, but then when we get on the WhatsApp, oh my god, it's free game. You should see some of the things that we do and say. I tell you what, if that ever got leaked, I'd be cancelled. Oh, we say some horrible shit on there. We do, but you've got to, don't you? You've got to unwind. You know, you've got to let off steam sometimes, and sometimes that means being a bit nasty. Do you know what I mean? I don't like nasty people. I don't like nasty people. I don't encourage bullying, but I feel like on WhatsApp it's all right. But what I'm trying to say is that in person, I will respect Kaitlyn Jenner's pronouns because, you know, I want her to like me, and I want her to continue to help our cause by saying things that are not in her interests in public. You know, and if I go in saying, oh, you're a man, he, him, whatever, then Kaitlyn is obviously going to take that to heart and then start insisting that we respect them, you know? And what I'm saying is sometimes you have to pretend. You have to pretend to respect somebody in order to, you know, get what you want. Anyway, what have I got to show you? I've got to tell you, there's another announcement. I've got merch now. Because I've had so many messages about this T-shirt. People are going mad for it. They're going, I want one. You know, my God, where did you get that T-shirt from? I want 20 of them. Well, don't worry, girls. I've got ya. Again, in the description, you'll find a link. You can buy all the merch you want. We got stickers. We got T-shirts. We've got a clock. A clock with my face on it. It's not the most flattering picture in the world, but the hubby says that people like clocks now. He said it's a metaphor. People will get it. It means basically like it's time to fight for women and girls. So the point of it is when you see my face every hour, you'll be inspired to, you know, take up the proverbial sword and shield and go and fight for your hard-fought feminist rights. We got a mug. There's a mug on there, so you can always, if you forget that you're an adult human female woman, you'll remember every time you take a sip of coffee or tea or squash, you know, whatever you prefer. They're the main ones. I wouldn't go mad. I wouldn't go putting like white wine in it, you know. But I'm still interested in suggestions for merch. Is there something in particular that you would like to have our adult human female woman logos on? Because we can actually, I found out we can put it on whatever. I've seen some people putting it on umbrellas. I was thinking of like, how do you think it, I haven't got one here. I just thought, how do you think it would look? Oh, so like imagine that this umbrella, it's black like this, but imagine it says on it like adult woman, grown up female who isn't a man. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we could fit like at least 8 words on there. And I was thinking we could get them printed up, and then every time it rains, you could put up your umbrella like that when it's raining, yeah, and you can tell everyone who's slightly above you, you know, what you believe and who you are. The thing about merch is it's really important to buy it, and it's really important to buy it at full price, because fighting against the gender woo-woo it's not free. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a job. I don't have a full-time job. I dedicate my life 24/7 to fighting autogynephilic, trans-identified, psychologically demented men. And as a result, I've sacrificed a lot of income. And I just think that if you bought some of this merch, then I would be able to do it even more. Do you know what I mean? I'd be able to put up even more of a fight. And what better way to communicate your allegiance to the cause than an umbrella with adult woman, grown-up human female is not a man on it. And then anyone who's slightly above you can see that message up here. And before you say anything, yeah, I know it's unlucky to open an umbrella indoors, but the world's upside down now, innit? Everything's crazy. It's topsy-turvydom. Maybe nowadays it's good luck to open an umbrella indoors. That's the way I'm looking at it. Oh, that's quite a hard umbrella to close, actually. We won't use it won't be this brand of umbrella. It'll be a considerably more affordable and cheaper to manufacture umbrella than this, but yeah, this one's quite tough. Ugh. Christ. Fucking hell, what is wrong with this? You know what? They don't make things in this country like they used to, do they? They don't make men like they used to. They don't make politicians like they used to. They don't make laws like they used to. And I tell you what, they especially don't make umbrellas like they used to. Our umbrellas have at least a 5-use guarantee on them, all right? Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow the Twitter and the Discord below. And keep on fighting for women's rights and girls and even babies, because babies even have a birth sex, so you got to fight for them too. And it's not just girls, you know, we're fighting for boys too. The only people we're not fighting for is the in-betweenies, transgenders, non-binary, furries, whatever. All right, bye.